Hey legends, I've only gone and built my own sim pit. That's a madness. Welcome you legends and heliheads, you choppers and stick bangers and beautiful subscribers. Welcome to this video where I'm introducing you to the new addition to the family, Hornet, the Hornet Apache Sim Pit. This has been a dream of mine now for nigh on 30 years, ever since I really got into flight sims in the early 90s, all the days of F-22 Air Dominance Fighter and A-10 Cuba and the F-2000 and Su-27 Flanker and all the different connotations of DCS World, Flaming Cliffs 2, and Lock-on Modern Air Combat, etc, etc. So look, I've been doing this for donkeys. And even during the military, being an army pilot was something I always wanted to be. I always wanted to be a helicopter pilot, but put simply, I wasn't good enough at time, speed and distance, so that put paid to that. But 35 years later, here we are with my own sim pit. Now, a quick shout out at the beginning here to Wildman from a Warthog project and Scott from a Hornet's Nest, links in the description below. Thank you very much to those two who are just hugely inspirational when it comes to sim pit building, and both have had their own journeys. Scott is on his at the minute, where he's creating an F-18 pretty much to scale using the Hornet project designs, and a Warthog project for the A10C. That whole system there is just absolutely fantastic. The only thing missing from that is motion simulation. I don't actually think he needs it. But this is my sim pit, and it's not a copy of any one particular aircraft. This enables me to fly the F-18 and the AH64D Apache with no touching of the keyboard or mouse whatsoever. Every single switch is relevant, every single button does something. I'm able to flight, navigate and engage and come home in one piece without touching the keyboard and mouse, and that's the whole point of a sim pit, is to increase the immersion. This particular sim pit is quite wide, so it's not to scale at all, and there's no design out there. It's of my own design, and that was something I sort of gave myself a check-up on, not to copy anybody, not to use anyone else's design, but to create what I wanted, so that I could honestly put my hand on my heart and say it was mine to my own design. I mean, there's no aircraft out there with 3 screens like that on the dashboard, but for me that's what I wanted, and I'll cover that as we go around. We're going to get a bit geeky now, so apologies to those of you who are not that way inclined. 3 different types of hardware. We've got Tech Creations panels, we've got Wing panels, and then we've got my own panels. And as I said, big shout out to a Hornet's Nest and a Warthog project, who were the inspiration for me to embark on that journey. First of all, the Tech Creations panels here. Kieran from Tech Creations, wonderful panels he's created. This is the Gen 3 Hornet left console. And then we go into the first piece of wing equipment, which is the Orion 2. And obviously the Orion 2 F-18 stick as well, and the Skywalker rudder pedals with damper, and the takeoff panel version 2, and of course the Top Gun MIP, which is the 3 MFDs you can see there, the 3 screens, the upfront controller, the HUD controller. What else is from them? That's nothing from them. Let's just put that on pause. Pause that, because something I've done on the Orion 2 was create an additional panel here that I can layer on top, and this is particularly for the Apache, but when I'm flying the F-18, of course, I can use that. And although it's probably not showing up on the video here, when this lays over that, and the lights are off, the light does come through this. Pop that back on. So we're into my panels now. This is all of the left-hand console of the Apache, except the throttle levers, the friction lever, and the light panel, L1, which I've put over on the right-hand side, and we'll see that in a minute. But all these work. They are all active in the sim. Everything works, all the switches work, etc. And part of that journey, of course, was not just the construct of the panels, but also the wiring of the switches and so on, using the Arduino and DCS BIOS, which I've never ever touched before and was a journey in itself, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Was it expensive? Yes, in time and energy and effort, but acrylic panels, different colours, different widths, and black spray and a laser cutter stroke laser engraver, and plenty of time and energy and effort put into the understanding of the software. But as you can see, the end result, I think you'll agree, is pretty good. Yes, that is a key in there. Yes, these all work. Yeah, and I'm really, really pleased with it. Coming up here, we've got a 10.1 inch touch screen, which is, I don't know if you can see that, which is great for the Apache. I've got a display here for keeping an eye on my computer with regards to its specs and so on. This is a tornado, a real tornado hazard panel from the cockpit that I thought was a nice ode to the GR4, and a couple of switches there and a button that I haven't wired up yet, which will be master caution, master warning and eject. Like I said, not wired up yet. Tech Creations Hornet warning panel. 2 stream decks, one on the left and one on the far right. The PTO2, as I said, the Top Gun MIP at the top there. Toby X, which I use when I'm dogfighting the F-18, and of course in the Apache, being able to move your head and look around is important for target acquisition, for target identification, and of course using guns and rockets. I've also got here, as you can see just there, the angle of attack indicator for the F-18, and over there is the shoot cue for the F-18 as well. To the front here we can see the right hand stream deck, and underneath there 2 more boxes. One box there which is a light indicator for different systems that are attacking me or tracking me from the ground: SAM, AAA, Airborne Intercept and Common Wave. And on the left hand side there, both of these work with the Apache for disperse, the seat being armed in the Hornet, and obviously ECM, and lots of lights there that you can see there which give me different indication of different things that I've programmed via the Arduino. At the bottom here, another 10.1 inch screen, again touch sensitive, touch screen, which is brilliant, really, really useful. And then onto another one of my panels, the most complicated that I had to wire up, being the comms panel, ironically the one I use the less. Bit of a blanking plate, and then into Tech Creations right hand console Gen 3, and then finally two more panels that I've created myself. The first one here being the light panel, obviously we can see that's gone to red now, and obviously something from a beer and a bit of space. And as I said, the whole point of a sim pit is so that you shouldn't be able to use a keyboard and mouse, but if you did need to use a keyboard, then that just pops in there and works very nicely. And if I needed to use a mouse, then this sits very nicely up there. Not that I've had to, but you know what, for other sims and so on, if I need to use it, then it's there. And finally is the seat, the Next Level Racing Boeing flight cockpit system, which I've got the whole system here that the rudder pedals are mounted on, and then at the front there I've used some wooden framework to give me a structure. Now this is only phase 1. Phase 2 of this will see this being moved away from the screen slightly, a front dashboard created which will extend out, probably with a HUD, and a glare shield going over, and this whole front will be mounted differently. But I wanted to get this up and running so that I was able to enjoy it before moving into phase 2, which in realistically speaking probably will be, you know, another 6 months worth after the sort of spring and summer period of flying radio controlled helicopters, which of course I miss dearly. The girls have missed me, and I've missed them. Oh my girls. Another piece of hardware which I've got plugged in here is the HF8, the Next Level Racing HF8, which is a haptic feedback seat pad that you put on the seat. And it gives you little rumbles and vibrations that are all relative to different things that are happening with the airframe from, you know, taking off and landing, and you can feel that, and that's all part of the immersion. And what I've done is ripped apart that 200-pound extra seat, taken all the wiring out, rewired it, and put it inside the actual seat. So this seat is still as comfortable or as uncomfortable as some people find it as it was originally, and all of the rumble pads are inside. So that immersion is really, you know, really great from the seat side of things. All of this is run on 24 USB ports, and the TV is a 65-inch Panasonic Ambilight variable refresh rate gaming TV. Basically, the maximum is 60 Hertz, and seeing as I always fly at VSync on, this works extremely well. And there is a video up there as to why I advise you flying with VSync on, whether that's 60 Hertz or 120 or 144 Hertz, but VSync on is the way to go. And like I said, that video will explain why. And powering all of this is a 13900K of 5.6 gigahertz with an RTX 4080, 64 gig of DDR5, and of course that's running all of that via powered USB extension cables to powered USB hubs. And this particular PC is also running all of this as well. Of course, we're running DCS World, we're also running Tobii X, we're running Wing SimAmp Pro, we're running MSI Afterburner, we're running Open Kneeboard, we're running Stream Deck, we're running Helios, we're running HF8 or Sim Aviators for the HF8. We're running the display for the specifications of the PC, and we're running DCS BIOS with 11? Yeah, I think it's 11 Arduinos, one of which is an 80 mega and the others are Pro Micros. So there we go. A quick whistle-stop tour of the Hornet Apache Sim-Cockpit. I'm super pleased with it. It's so immersive. So a final thank you really to Scott from Hornet's Nest, and to, of course, Wildman from a Warthog project for their massive efforts they do for the community, and the inspiration which they exude, which for me really kicked me up the arse to create something that I've always wanted, which is my own sim pit. More to come on this, obviously, and flights, etc., and different camera views and all the rest of it. So stay tuned for that. But until the next one, remember, it's all about the journey. So you know what? Enjoy it. Till the next one, take care. Bye-bye.